Ladies and gentlemen, it's Mike Andes, and today we're talking about whether or not your crew is efficient. And I'm going to give you the exact metric to be able to measure whether or not your crew is being lazy, or whether they're being average, or whether they're absolutely crushing it. Okay. My name is Mike Andes, founder of Augusta Lawn Care and Copilot CRM. And today we are talking about something that is probably the most important thing for home service businesses. Why? Because we sell labor. Ultimately, the whole essence of home services is taking $25 per hour labor, an hour of that, and selling it to a customer for $100 or $200 per hour. That's like the whole business model. And we have systems and procedures and training and equipment and trucks to be able to give our crew to turn their $25 of an hour of labor into making it worth $100 of value to the customer. So let's go ahead and talk about the metric that I make sure I measure every single day, every single week, every single month for every one of my employees, as well as for all of my locations at Augusta Lawn Care. Because this is the measurement, in my opinion, that makes it very possible to see which crew, which employees are being the most efficient. All right, I'm going to pull this up on the whiteboard and we're going to talk about something called budgeted hours. Okay. Now, this is a very simple metric that you should be able to get from pretty much any CRM, and that is how many budget hours on the schedule, as well as how many clocked hours did your crew have for the week. So, this is what we're looking at. We're looking at our labor efficiency. Okay. I'll make myself a little bit smaller here. Boom. So, we're looking at labor efficiency. And this equation is equal to budgeted hours divided by clocked hours. Okay. So what this means is if I work 8 hours in the day, that would be 8 clocked hours. Okay. But if I completed 6 budget hours worth of work, maybe I did a few small projects or did a route of, say, 10 different jobs, and they were all about half an hour or a little more than half an hour of each, I completed 6 budget hours in 8 clocked hours for the day. This would mean that I had a 75% efficiency score. All right. How do I come up with that? 6 divided by 8 is 0.75. All right. So that's what leads me to believe that this person is 75% efficient. Now let's do another example of a less efficient crew. So let's say, for example, that they work again 8 clocked hours, but hey, they take their time, They stop at the gas station several times. They make a bunch of smoke breaks. They didn't get pack their lunch. They have to stop for an hour for lunch. They take a nap in the truck and all the rest of it. And now all of a sudden, this employee that worked 8 clocked hours gets 3 budgeted hours done for the day. So now, if we take 3 divided by 8, that is something along the lines of like 0.4 or so. All right, don't hold me to it, which is approximately 40% efficiency score. Not good. This is a great metric to be able to measure the efficiency of an individual team member or a crew. So, for example, for a crew, we could also say, okay, well, there was 3 crew members and they all work 10 hours a day. So 3 times 10, we know we have 30 clocked hours. And again, we can look at our dispatch board. We can see, okay, what were all the jobs that were completed? Maybe it was a big project. Maybe it was a few small cleanups. Maybe it was a whole route, whatever it was. On this specific one, they completed 20 budget hours on this one day. And we're doing it for daily for now. In this event, if we take 20 divided by 30, that is going to be a 0.66 efficiency score, or 66%. The reason I like this so much, I don't know how to spell efficiency. Efficiency. There you go. The reason I like the score so much is because if you were 100% efficient, what that means is that you would have 8 budgeted hours worth of work completed in 8 clocked hours. What that means is you're 100% efficient. So this would be equal 1, which is equal to 100% efficiency, which also means if I completed 10 budgeted hours in a 8 clocked hour day, I would actually be 125% efficient because I'd completed more budget hours than clocked hours. Okay. Here's the thing. There's waste in every single day, which means there's load time, drive time. People have to get gas. take breaks, etc. There's equipment safety talks in the morning. All of that takes time. And so there's going to be a certain amount of waste. For me personally, I don't want more than 20 to 30% waste in someone's day. Anything more than that, I typically can't make any money. But I want to give you the exact benchmarks that I use to be able to determine whether or not a business is actually having efficient labor. And you'll see when I do turnarounds, I'll look at this number a lot. This is a really easy way to measure whether or not your crew or your team member is being efficient. If you're at 50% or so efficiency score, which again, budget hours divided by clocked hours, that would mean that half of your day is not completing work. That is bad. If you ever have less than 50% efficiency score, I almost never see that business make a profit because that means that more than half of their day, the crew is spent doing something other than actually producing work, i.e., completing budget hours. Very bad. You might have a day or two where there's bad weather or something bad happens, but like over the course of several months, if a whole team is less than 50% efficient, that business will never make money. This, in my opinion, 70% is average. Okay. So if you can do about 70% efficiency score, that means that 30% of your day is waste. Drive time, load time, unload time, safety meetings, all the other stuff that goes into getting your equipment set up for the morning, cleaning your truck at the end of the day. All of that other stuff has to be done. And that takes away from 100% efficiency. 90%, this is great. I have never seen a home service business that has an efficiency score of 90% or more not make very good profit margins. And so I just give these as an example. You're never going to get 100%. There might be days, but like you could also have really bad estimates where the budget hours are way off. But in general, if your budget hours are accurate, these numbers are very good benchmarks as to whether or not a team member is efficient or not, whether or not a crew is efficient or not. And then if you look at the totality of these numbers, whether or not your business has efficient labor, because that's what we're trying to measure. We're trying to measure is the one thing that a home service business actually does, which is produce labor and make it be efficient and profitable. If you're not doing that well, there's a really good chance you're not making money in your business. And so whenever someone's like, well, like everything is going good, I got good leads are coming in and like my pricing is pretty good and all those other things look good. But then they don't know whether or not their crew's like hardworking or not. Like, what do you compare it to? Do you compare it to yourself? Do you compare it to, what you've done in the past or your first employee or the first couple of employees? Like, how do you compare efficiency? This is a very easy way to do it. And you can actually track this every single day, whether it be manually and just doing what I did here, budget hours divided by clocked hours and do a calculation. You can also get the score on p4psoftware.com. This is like literally every day we track this for our team members to be able to have a scoreboard and we can share this number. We can share who's the most efficient, who has the best efficiency score for the pay period for the month, give away prizes. I've seen some people do like big UFC belts and they give it to the person of the month. I've seen people rent out, lease a car and whichever employee has the highest efficiency score gets to have that car for the week or a special parking spot for them, or they get their own truck for the month. These are the type of things you can do to incentivize efficiency of labor. Because again, if your labor is not efficient, it is very unlikely that in home services you'll be able to make profit because our entire business is selling labor. That's exactly all we do. You might have some product costs. You might be able to do some material markup or add some fees in there. But ultimately, what we're doing for customers is selling them time. And if that time is not being spent efficiently, there's a very good chance you won't be able to make profit. So use these numbers, 50%, 70%, and 90% as sort of benchmarks. They're not golden for your business, but like use them as benchmarks of whether or not you're going to able to actually make profit and whether or not your team members are burning time. Because I think when people actually do this for the first time, they start realizing that more than half of an employee's day that's inefficient is spent not making money for the business. And that is very scary. Ideally, you compensate your employees to be more efficient using something like pay for performance so that the harder they work and the higher this efficiency score is, the more money they make. You can check out p4psoftware.com/training, a whole bunch of free material in there, or go to mikeandys.com/p4p and get a whole bunch of free training about this efficiency score and how you can compensate your team on it.